Good afternoon. Welcome to my humble abode. Welcome to Real Life with Andrea. In today's real life episode, I am sitting in my room at my desk in my office part of my room. It's a very small house, and waiting for something to download on my computer. And as I look around my room and I feel like I really have nothing on my mind, and then how quickly that changes, right? So we have a young lady from the foster care system staying with us for some respite care. So she's in my son's room. So you see my table over there has become my son's clothing area, his dresser, while we accommodate for 2 weeks. So it's a little bit messy in here, which feels a little bit overwhelming. I'm finding that because the room is so small, when anything is left out, and I got a blanket unfolded right there, but when anything is left out, it just can feel overwhelmingly messy. Even though when you actually look at what is there, it's really not that messy. But it keeps me from being able to focus on the task at hand. And as I think about that fact, the things that get in the way of me being able to be able to do what I need to do in order to accomplish my goals for the day, provide for my family, etc., I am challenged to think about, why is it that way? Like, why does that little thing bother me? And in the current world that we live in, we often do not, we go either two ways, and I think I've said this before, but either we don't give enough credit to the devil, to Satan, for the way that he interrupts our flow, and puts temptations and challenges before us, or we either don't give enough credit or we give him too much credit. So it's always hard to walk that fine balance. But I don't think it really matters whether it's Satan or my own self that gets in the way. I mean, I guess it does a little bit. But the reality is that in the culture that we live in, we have normalized that it's okay to feel frantic about this. It's okay to this. It's okay to that. All of our feelings are valid. And my feeling of validity here on that, it's too messy for me to be able to focus and get my job done. That's not actually a valid reason to not be able to do the things that I have to do. Why do I think that? I think that because if it were my children, I would not allow them to not do the things that they need to do because they don't feel like it. That perpetuates the problem. We need to learn to push on. And in order for our children really to learn, how do I push through some of these things? They have to see people pushing through some of these things. They have to see me saying, you know what? Today I am frantic because it's such a mess, but I have a job to do and I am going to choose to do it. I don't want to do it, just like you don't want to do your job. But we have this job to do. We need to get it done, whether it's schoolwork for homeschooling, or laundry because we're out of clean underwear, or dishes because there's no more spoons. We have to do the jobs that there are to do in front of us. No one else is going to do it for us, and no one else cares whether we get those jobs done or not. Those are all, things that we have to do for ourselves that are kind of, for a lot of this, behind the scenes, right? And we often will just leave that stuff go and not really think much about it, or we focus on the tasks and we're able to get tasks done, but then there's other things that we don't get done, like reading our Bible, like sitting down and reading a book that's going to help us teach our children, or showering sometime. I mean, so some of these other things we let go for doing the tasks. And how do we find a balance between them? So how do we prioritize? And I talked about prioritizing in a few videos ago, but being able to prioritize, I have to prioritize sitting down and reading God's word and praying, even though there are days where that never feels like it's a waste of time, but it's hard to do because I see the dishes sitting there, and I know that the laundry's piled up in my bedroom, and I know that I packed my little one's bag, and that was the last pair of socks that he had in his drawer. And so should I just go start the laundry before I sit down and read my Bible and pray? Or should I just do those dishes real fast, get them in the dishwasher, and then Oh, but I can't get them in the dishwasher because I have to unload the dishwasher first. So I have to unload all the clean dishes because I like to run the dishwasher at night. And then I can put the dirty dishes inside. And then before I know it, the tasks have taken over my time. And now I'm beyond that. Like, this happened to me just yesterday. All week I was super good. I got up in the morning, I made my coffee, I listened to the morning wire while my coffee was brewing, and I drank my coffee, and then I opened my Bible and I read my passage, which right now I'm reading through the book of John, 2 or 3 chapters a day. And so I read my passage, I prayed, I journaled, and then I started my day all week. And then I don't know what happened yesterday. Yesterday I went downstairs and I was thinking about all the things that were happening on Saturday and trying to figure out what are the things that are supposed to be happening this morning, because it's Saturday and it's a different routine. And so I made my coffee, and instead of sitting down at the table and listening to Morning Wire, I went into the living room and I picked up in the living room while my coffee was brewing. And that started right there, my mind on a whole different trajectory. Then I went downstairs and I woke up my son because he needed to be at work. And then I had to take him to work, and then blah, blah. And so all these things. And guess what? Yesterday, I didn't read my Bible. I didn't have focused time for prayer. I didn't journal those things because I did not prioritize that over other things. Over an extra, I guess we can step back on how that started, an extra 20 minutes of sleep. So I prioritized snoozing. And then when I went to make my coffee, I prioritized straightening up the living room, which wasn't that messy, and blah, blah, blah. So it is super easy for us to get distracted with the tasks of the day and the things that we see physically in front of us. And then we don't get done some of these other things that are really more important on the grand scheme of things. So those are my thoughts for this morning, and I need to do better next week. This morning I did get up, I made my coffee, even though it's Sunday morning. I listened to Morning Wire while my coffee was brewing. I sat down, even though my coffee wasn't ready, at the table. I opened my Bible to where it needed to be. I opened my journal, got my pencil, grabbed my cup of coffee, finished listening to Morning Wire, and then did my Bible reading and journaled my prayer time. And so I'm feeling pretty accomplished with that today. Got off to church, got a nice shower, was able to do a whole bunch of self-care, went to church, enjoyed the church service, and now I'm home sitting at my desk waiting for a class to download so that I can take a class to be able to do a specific job. So those are my thoughts for the day on what's going on here and kind of chaos. How do I deal with chaos? I don't deal well with chaos. People think I deal well with chaos. On the outside, I deal well with chaos. On the inside, I do not deal well with chaos. But I have learned over the years that we need to push through and persevere. And now I have to learn how to teach my kids that that's what I'm doing, because my kids just think it's all good. Especially my oldest one now, she's like, you just don't understand, Mom, what goes on inside of me, how much anxiety I have when the house is a mess and I'm trying to sit down and do my job, and I look outside of my office and I see dog hair everywhere and laundry. You just don't understand. And I'm like, how did I raise her my whole life feeling those exact same things, and she has no clue that that's what was going on inside of me? I'm like, girl, I completely understand now, adult to adult. You need to understand that I just do it because I have to, because living in that space of feeling paralyzed by everything is not going to accomplish anything. I feel anxiety, I feel stress, I feel upset, I feel chaotic, I feel that inside of me, but none of those feelings help me be productive. And so I push them aside. And there are days where it is so overwhelming, I feel like the only thing that I can do is breathe. But allowing that feeling to control my day and control my actions is not helpful. And so she was like, I had no idea that that's how you felt. But we have this whole generation of people that give in to those feelings and give in to that pressure and give in to that paralysis, and then just feel like, well, it's just okay because that's how I feel. Well, I'm here to tell you, whatever generation you are, that those of us who have gone before you, those feelings existed for us too, always. Women have a big job. They have huge tasks. They have huge responsibilities. And even for those women who don't have a lot of things on their plate, we were made to multitask. We were made to do all these things. And if you're a Christian, read Proverbs 31 and look at the Proverbs 31 woman. And this is who we were made to be. Women who run our household and raise our children and work, and we buy a field, and we're financially prudent, and we're beautiful inside and outside, and we take care of ourselves, and we're charitable to those around us, and we're hospitable, and blah, blah, blah. Like, from the very beginning, we were designed to do all of these things. And so there's not a woman in this world who hasn't felt anxiety and chaos in her soul because there's so much on her plate. So young people, push through. Understand that this is just a part of life. This is just a part of life. It is who you are. And you cannot allow fear, anxiety, depression to control you. You get to make your own choice on what your life is going to be like. Yes, there will be days where that's harder than others. Yes, there are days where you can only do the minimum because you can barely breathe. But when you get through that day and into the next day, you can be proud of yourself for choosing not to let that control you, not to let your emotions, your feelings, and your anxieties make decisions for you. Take control of your life and make your decisions using this, not this. All right, well, that's all I got to say today. I hope you all are having a wonderful Sunday. I hope that it is relaxing and that you're not feeling the anxiety that I just portrayed. I think that anxiety and chaos and frustration, all those things are tools that we can use to identify what's going on in our lives, but we cannot let them control us. So I hope that you will think about that and think about ways that you can manage your anxiety and your fears a little bit better. It's not easy. It's a journey. Take the journey. It's worth winning. You must win. All right, if you like this video, thumbs up the video. If you don't, thumbs down. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you don't feel anxious and chaotic on the inside. I don't know. If you don't, I'd love to know what your life is like and how that works out, because I would love to not feel so anxious and chaotic on a regular basis. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you soon. Bye now.